Let me put it this way. When you follow his story in the movies, I'll leave out the expanded universe as much as it breaks my heart. You got him going from being this scoundrel with a heart that he didn't even know he had a heart, but he found it. And he found it for the rebellion, and he found it for all of his friends, and he found it in order to protect his way of life.
There are perhaps more popular, more charismatic, perhaps more colorful captains in this tournament, but Captain Picard is the quintessential captain, the most captain-like captain, I believe, in this entire bracket.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the semifinals of Captain Wars here on Cinefix. We're in round 2, and we've got Christina and Mark here. Christina representing Captain Picard, Sir Captain Picard, I guess, because, you know, the royalty thing. And of course, Han Solo of
That's right.
Han Solo-dom. I had a frank discussion with the coin on the telephone, and he advised me that Han Solo has to do his opening argument first. So Mark, 2 minutes. Okay, begin.
All right, first off, I do not want to misrepresent my own character in the words I'm about to say. I'm a huge Trekkie, grew up with Next Generation. Picard's one of my favorite characters ever. That being said, Picard is one of the most emotionless husks of a man that has ever captained a starship. He is so rarely brought to a boiling point in any of his stories, it's hardly even worth telling them. He's got, I mean, sure, in most situations, he attacks them with the cool demeanor of a Scottish king, but let's not idolize Scottish kings here. Han Solo, on the other hand, he wears his emotion, he wears all of his thoughts on his sleeve. He always says them directly to, and in the instance, he has them to the people he's advising. And he's become, as a result, an advisor to the rebellion, despite his criminal background. Picard, on the other hand, he can win a battle. He can, tussle with a younger version of himself or fight off the Borg, batting them back so Janeway can finish them off. He can hold his own, but he usually, in the thick of things, gives the helm to Riker and then goes and gets a blaster and then goes out and, phases a few bad guys.
20 seconds.
Han Solo, on the other hand, has won wars, something Picard's never even been a part of, and he was achieved general during a wartime commission. That's better than earning it through Starfleet Academy. What are we talking about here? This guy's way better.
So to recap, Captain Picard, husk of a man, and Solo won wars, baby. Christina, 2 minutes for your opening argument.
Look, I love Han Solo. The teenage girl in me is still kind of infatuated with him, but that's how it goes for those of us ladies who love Star Wars. You have a girl crush on Luke Skywalker, you want to date Han Solo, but when you become a grown woman, you realize that the character with the best marriage material is Chewbacca. Or Wedge Antilles, it's a toss-up. And really, isn't captaining a ship not unlike a marriage? It's a big commitment, you have to manage resources, you have to delegate responsibilities, you have to be adaptable, and you have to be able to embrace and share the workload. And that's where Captain Picard really has won over on Han Solo. Han Solo, at his core, is still just a smuggler. We love him. He's brash, he's rebellious, he's a heck of a lot of fun, but he doesn't take a more complex, sophisticated approach to problems. He said it himself, with a blaster at his side, that's all he needs. Han Solo, he basically relies on those around him to do the captaining for him. You've got Luke Skywalker being his ethical center. You've got Leia being the diplomat. I'm pretty sure Han's not pulling his weight in that marriage either. All that said, I do love Han Solo. The teenage girl in me still wants to date him. And I'm not saying I want to marry Captain Picard, because that's quite an age difference. But he's got the life experience, he's got the leadership skills, and he did go to Starfleet Academy. Thank you for bringing that up, because he's got education and intellect, where Han Solo has been literally flying by the seat of his pants for a good 10 years now, which has gotten him far. But I don't think it should take you all the way to the end of Captain Wars.
All right. Real women marry Chewbacca, but Christina still wants to bone Han Solo. 1 minute for rebuttal, Mark. Go ahead.
As far as the Chewbacca line, we can arrange that. So what is with this elitism that's been coming at Han Solo ever since Captain America, and now it's happening again? Everybody's nitpicking the character he once was, not the character who he became through the story that happens. That's the point of a story, something that Picard sort of like stays pretty static on. He never changes or evolves out of the character. The closest thing he gets to that is basically a weird bout of post-assimilation angst, where he becomes like a genocidal maniac, knowing that you can unassimilate somebody, you can pull them out of the Borg collective, and he decides, I'm just gonna kill them all anyway. And he gets pleasure out of it. He gets pleasure gunning down all these innocent Borg drones that had families that were hoping they would come back someday.
I'm sure Greedo had a family too, and Han shot him. But look, Captain Picard assumed command of the Enterprise when he was 59 years old. He'd already grown a lot as an individual before we even pick up his story. Now, is he the sort of cool, aloof captain to Han Solo's brash hero? Yes, he is. That's just how his story has come to be. Don't get at me on handing command over to Riker, because that's what a captain does. He delegates. He knows where his strengths are, and he knows not to put himself in harm's way all the time. Whereas Han Solo will literally run into danger screaming.
So after the opening arguments and rebuttals, the main thing we can take away is that both you guys are apologizing for in any way disparaging the other one's character, because you're both fans of both franchises.
Can I just point out that of all the Star Trek captains, Picard is the only one who never made admiral. Janeway makes admiral in the movies.
Yes.
Picard doesn't. Kirk does. The way Janeway talks to him is very indicative of how probably the entirety of Starfleet thinks about Picard. They think about him like he's this old dog about to die who still wants to act like a puppy, and you gotta just pet its head. Be like, oh, you're still a puppy.
Oh, you want to talk still a puppy? I feel like Chewbacca and Han's relationship is pretty much just like Chewbacca should actually be the captain on that ship, and Han's like the little 2-year-old that you let score in the Pee-wee soccer game because you kind of want him to feel good about himself. That's
really? Because who's at the helm when they navigate an asteroid field? That's like one of the hardest things to do.
Han has some skills, but Chewbacca's the one who takes responsibility for fixing the ship. He's the one who looks out.
So you want
for
to talk
him.
about second in commands? Like Riker, he immediately immediately attacks the people they were negotiating with in Generations, and then crashes the Enterprise, costing taxpayers unknown amounts of money.
You don't
this
have
is the
taxes
most
in
advanced.
Star Trek.
Then what's all right? So they don't have money, right? But they have credits, they have currency, and that's all doled out through some crazy socialist system. Picard also never even knew what an oppressive regime was until he witnessed it from the outside. Han Solo had to grow up during the Empire's reign. He had to overcome that adversity. He then had to, pair up with this other ragtag group of people he didn't get along with at all. And
interesting that you bring up how different that Han Solo is from the rest of the rebellion. I think that pretty much just sums up that they when they promoted him to captain and general and all the other field promotions he's gotten, pretty much they're working on the beggars can't be choosers sort of philosophy, because obviously they probably
Akbar didn't get general.
Admiral Akbar's an admiral.
Right, but he has been in the military much longer than Han Solo, I think, has even been alive. You can't really say that he didn't earn it. He earned it in battle. He helped everybody get off Hoth.
Look, Picard has been faced with much more complicated choices than Han Solo has.
Really?
Han Solo is an accomplished tactician, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a strategist. He gets everyone off of Hoth, I will grant you that, but that's a tactical set of circumstances.
Yeah, and Picard's answer to tactics is, Riker, take the helm, give me a gun, and then leave the Klingon behind, because that's not your best warrior.
As I said, I really do appreciate Han Solo. And if this is Star Trek versus Star Wars, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I like Star Trek better, and if you agree, you know which comment to thumbs up. If you don't agree, just think about the complexity of the captain's job, and vote for the captain who has a crew of 200 and not 2.
Oh yeah, the money. Who has the money to do it?
All right,
He
guys.
doesn't have any. Money's literally not a factor.
Directly underneath this video, there will be 2 comments posted by Cinefix. One comment will say, vote here for Captain Picard. If you think Captain Picard won this round, thumbs up that comment, and that will be your vote. If you think Han Solo won, thumbs up the comment that says Han Solo won. And I would advise against just voting with your allegiances to whichever franchise. Really listen to the arguments and let us know who you think is the superior captain, and that will decide who goes to the finals to face off against either Captain Mal or Steve Zissou. And if you missed that episode, click on over, because I'm sure there's a handy dandy annotation as well as a link in the description box if you're on mobile to check that out.
And come on, don't you want Mal versus Han?
Don't you want Mal versus Picard?
Mal doesn't care. Take it back.
Yeah, you want to see Mal versus Captain Picard, because you don't want just 2 scruffy-looking nerf herders
Hey,
squaring off
who's
against
scruffy looking?
Honestly,
as you tug your beard.
The answer is you.